The other function that I mentioned here is actually empty function. This function checks whether a variable, or especially a vector or matrix, is empty or not. I have provided an example here. This function can also tell you if a string variable is empty or not. This is useful when you, for example, use input function and ask the user to enter a string. Then you can use this function to check the value of the input function to see if the user has entered anything at all. We have a small example here. Finally, there is a function called isLetter, which basically checks whether the input is just one alphabet letter or not. This function again can be used in programs that require the user to enter a letter. Using this function, I have written my own function called isALetter, which asks the user to enter a letter and then verifies if the user input is really a letter. Alright, I assume you might become bored after playing with if-else and switch and various examples. So let's move to the part of this lecture in which we discuss the loops. As I mentioned, loops are useful to implement a sequence of commands repeatedly. We have two types of loops in general. Type 1 is the control loop. In this one, we have an idea about the number of times the sequence of commands is repeated, although there are also some exceptions to this rule. In type 2 loops, we essentially do not know the number of times a sequence of commands will be repeated. Here, basically, we may need to repeat until a condition becomes invalid, and we cannot say ahead of time when this condition will no longer hold for true. We start by learning about for loop, which is a control loop. It allows a sequence of commands are repeatedly performed for a given number of times. I have provided the general form here. You can see that for loop has a iterator variable which counts the number of times that the loop has been repeated. This iterator variable is initialized by a value and is incremented or decremented until it reaches a threshold value. In other words, the iterator variable will change in a range. I have a very easy example here. Let's say we would like to print the numbers from 1 to 5 in a column. Then all we need to do is to put the print function within a for loop with 5 iterations and print the iterator variable. This is the first time that you see function printf, so I have written a few lines about this function and its parameters.